All right, today I am out here with the new Prime Radian by Canik. These are going to be the very first shots out of this gun. Let's get the first few shots on this thing. Let me go center mass.
Here we go.
Okay, it's shooting low and left by quite a bit. We're gonna stop with those three. We got 3 rounds touching there. Let's stop there. Shoots flat. Shooter, make ready. Are you ready? Stand by.
Here it is, the Canik Prime Radian. I've been waiting on this one for a long time. I'm excited about it ever since it made the splash at SHOT Show, and then it was delayed. I heard there's back and forth with Prime and with Canik and Radian. But it's finally here. I did purchase this with my own money. It was difficult to get a hold of. There were a lot of places out there charging double the price for over retail for the gun, which I thought was crazy. And kind of on that note, I want to give a shout out to a local company here called the Gun Corner. They're in Queen Creek, Arizona. They're at the Ruggiero's Ace in Queen Creek. Just an absolutely fantastic customer service, and they helped me get my hands on this thing. So I want to shout out them and thank them for the incredible customer service and being such a friend to the channel from the very beginning. So thank you to the Gun Corner for playing such a big part in this video. All right. With that, I'm not going to bore you with an unboxing video. I've seen a lot of videos out there with guys that had the gun sent to them, and honestly, some of them are kind of gushing about this thing, and I hope it lives up to it, because I spent my own money on this thing, and at best impress, because I'm not going easy on it, man. This is something I've been really looking forward to, and I hope it lives up to the hype. So, I actually have to go do something real quick. I'll be back in a few minutes. We'll do an unboxing at that point. And then I am taking this to a competition today, not to compete with it, but after the competition, I'm going to line up a whole bunch of shooters, get it in their hands, and do hands-on comparison between this and the Mete Prime. So I'll be right back. We'll do that unboxing.
All right, I'm back. I had to run downstairs and take care of some stuff. It's been a little bit, but let's get this thing opened up. All right. They've got the back straps in here, so you can swap out that Radian back strap for the factory ones. That's kind of cool. Got it's like their normal toolkit thing that's here. Kind of cool. We got the little tools inside. Nice. All right, jump to it. Let's go. We got the instructions, and it comes holstered. There we go. There's the gun. Let's put that aside for a second. Here is the magazine. Oh, it's in the gun. Okay. Right. What's under here? It should come out. There we go. All right, just cleaning stuff. All right. Like I said, I'll give it to Canik. They do a good job of packaging their guns.
17 round and a 17 round. So 2 17 round mags. Good. Okay. That's pretty solid. Good looking gun. I actually like the all black. I think it looks cool. Let's mount an optic and see how this thing does, huh? Let's go quite a ways and then way to the right. Okay. Let's see how that feels.
Gonna run 2 bill drills here with the Canik Prime Radian. Here we go. One miss. Trying again one last time. Clean. 137. All right, next we're going to do a side-by-side comparison between the Canik Prime Radian and the Canik Mete Prime. Now, what we did here, my buddy Brian brought his Mete Prime out, and I lined up several competition shooters and had them shoot these guns back to back. 5 rounds in one, 5 rounds in the other with the same ammo, and then tell me how much flatter they thought the Radian shot. You can see there's not much size difference between the two. Very comparable. They fit in the same holster, guys. So really comparable guns. Let's get into Kurt shooting here.
Canik Mete MC9 Prime.
Standard
Just the
prime.
prime.
We got it. Just the prime. Okay, 5 rounds. Same mag.
Canik Prime Radian. Bro,
Is it flatter?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, okay, not 100%.
Now, what? Okay, so what percentage flatter you think it is? Like, give me a number.
I would say at least 30% flatter.
Wow. Okay.
At least 30 to consensus.
All right. Let's go to the next shooter. Same question. All right, Mark. Standard Mete Prime. Okay. Shooting the Prime Radian.
I feel a huge difference. I'm going to say 10%.
10% flatter. Okay.
Who's up? Me?
All right, Hunter. Standard Prime.
Another round? How many rounds you got? Yes. Split the difference. 25% more controllable.
Okay.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
You want to switch?
All right, Sean shooting the standard Canik Prime.
Is it occluded?
Here you go. I got it. I got you.
These are we're all shooting 115s, just so everybody knows.
It feeds 115s with a ramjet, which is nice. They sprung it.
Yeah, they sprung it really heavy.
Still looks like it kicks pretty
What do you think?
Yeah, 15, 20.
15 to 20% flatter?
Yep.
Easier? Okay.
good. Brian? Brian shot it yet?
Yeah. Have you shot it yet, Brian?
Nope. Nope.
Okay. Okay, here's Brian shooting the Mete Prime. That's your gun, right?
That's my gun.
Mag's on your left. When are you ready? Now shooting the Prime Radian.
You can preset like 4 o'clock and one all on. When you come out, like we go to the movies, you come out, you get the train and go, damn, it's brisk in here. That's the one feature I like.
I would definitely say it's easily 20-25% smoother.
Wow. Okay.
I would say definitely.
All right, my turn. Standard Canik Mete Prime. 5 rounds.
Part of the team. 7 zeros.
7 0, what? 7 misses?
Yeah.
Okay, Prime Radian.
What do you think? You like them?
The shirts, yeah.
I'm going to give it a good 20%. That reduces recoil about 20%. That's actually impressive.
Yes, very
Yeah.
good. Guys, we throw more through it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You good if we throw 124?
24?
Yeah. You want to shoot it?
Is this recording?
Yes.
So don't mess up.
These are 115s.
Okay.
Yeah, let me in on that.
You got one in the chamber.
What's it? It feels different.
It does,
It
yeah.
does feel a lot different.
You did tell me there was one in the chamber.
I did.
All right, you've seen some range footage. First shots, and then I tried to get as many opinions as I could on the Canik Prime Radian while at the range. All these guns are cleared that I'm about to show you. I think it was absolutely universal. There was no one, and we had them shoot, some guys multiple times, the Prime, the Mete Prime, and then the Prime Radian, back to back, 5 rounds, 5 rounds. Universally, this one shoots flatter, softer, more controllable. Okay, undeniable. This is an upgrade from the standard Prime. It shoots really flat and really well for a gun in this size package. Now, what size package is this? Well, it's getting naturally, because it's targeting that concealed carry market, it's getting paired naturally with the #1 selling handgun for years, and that is the Glock 19. And it's a fair comparison in size. You can see it's a little thinner, so slightly more concealable that way. But if something's going to print when you're carrying concealed, it's the bottom of your grip, and you can see that there's a significant difference there. So depending on, you know, the guy, this might actually be easier. The Glock 19 might actually be easier to conceal for you than the Canik Prime Radian. The more fair comparison size-wise to a Glock is actually the Glock 19X. Now, ignore my threaded barrel that's on this one, and I should have just grabbed my 45 a little while ago, but that's all right. Again, ignore the threaded barrel, but you've got the same length, essentially. You've got almost identical in height. Let me get that lined up a little better here. There we go. So they're virtually identical in height. I can't get them to stand still. There we go. If I stack them that way, the 19 might be a fraction taller, but it is. I think it's exactly the same. The 19X and the Canik are exactly the same size, except for thickness. So size-wise, it fits in it's kind of a unique category. It's for me, I'm a big guy. This is a concealable thing for me. No big deal. And I do carry off body quite a bit as well. Fits perfectly there. Flatness of shooting compared to anything else you put a ramjet on, it's not mind-boggling. A ramjet does what a ramjet does on any gun you put it on, and the Canik Prime Radian is no different. The difference is the features that get packed into this as a value from the factory. So let's talk about those features real quick. And for a good comparison on this, I'm going to go with my essentially stock right now. I say essentially stock. The only thing that I've added is the and we can eliminate optics, right? I'm going to eliminate optics from the comparison because some guys are going to spend, $100 to $150 on an optic, and some guys are going to spend $600. The optic's up to you. What do I have to do with a Glock 19 to start to pack in the features that come out of the box on the Prime Radian? That's the difference maker. So let's talk about a few of those features right out of the gate. First thing, on every Glock that I have to do something to the grip. Now, I'm a big fan of handle it grips. They have these sticky grips on here that are just grip tape, so you're not having to permanently modify if you don't want to. You can do something like that. They're $20-ish, so not a crazy investment there to make your gun more grip and stable in your hand. And where from the factory, this thing's really grippy. It's an aggressive grip. It feels really good in the hand. I can get purchase on it. The grip is pretty good out of the box. I don't feel a need on this one to add grip tape. The back strap is awesome. This feels really good.
One of the things I'm going to have to do is add a ramjet, right, in order to make it perform the same way. And at that point, I'll be lengthening the slide, right? If I add a ramjet on there, I'm gonna have a longer gun. I could also, the other option would be to send this off and have it ported, which could be an interesting thing to do. I've got buddies at Aquila Arsenal that might be able to take care of that for me. Shout out to Aquila. But probably the biggest feature thing that has to change is the trigger. The trigger on a Glock has a very positive reset, but it is a brutal trigger pull. So it comes to there and then creep, break, right? Wall, creep, break. So it's more of a rolling break. The trigger on the Canik for a striker fired gun, there's the reset. I'm at the wall, break. That is a fantastic trigger out of the box. I don't personally feel a need. Now, my buddy Kurt, you guys have seen him a lot. He's got an aftermarket trigger for his Caniks that he loves. I don't personally feel a need to upgrade that. I think this is a fantastic trigger out of the box. To me, best striker fired trigger out of the box on the market. The undercut is good. It's a little bit undercut there for my hand. Fantastic features. And then obviously coming with the ramjet. From a price range standpoint, this one is significantly more than the standard Prime, the Mete Prime. And what you're really getting out of that is the magwell and backstrap combo here, and the ramjet that just fits really good and makes the gun look awesome. Shoots really flat, outperforms slightly the Prime, the Mete Prime. To get my Glock to do that, I've got to reach out to, I've got one here. This is the Johnny Glock's trigger. If you're going to be carrying, you got to be careful what trigger you go with on something like this. And I think on the market, I think Johnny Glock's is one of the best out there. It's my favorite by far. There's about a $200 difference here at retail, right? If you walk in the store, there's about call it a 250-ish.
That the Canik is more than the Glock.
Now you're suddenly looking where just getting a trigger that competes and just getting a ramjet to make this thing compete, it's significantly more against your budget than this is out of the box.
I want to show one more thing here. I owe this is a shout out to Brett at Nightwood Guns. I saw this in one of his videos. He's the only person I've ever seen talk about this, and it's worth knowing if this is going to be a carry gun for you. All right, so let's say, okay, got the gun ready to go. Trigger is ready to rock, okay? Let's say the gun comes out of battery a little bit and you pull the trigger, okay? When that slides back into battery, dead trigger. Okay, now you might say, okay, not a big deal, but the point is something happens and you pull that trigger, you've got a dead trigger. You push it into somebody, you push it into something, and you pull that trigger does not reset if you pull it while the slide is out of battery. And that, from what I'm seeing, is a unique thing with the Canik. And I'll show you real quick. Let's just grab, here's my P365, okay? Trigger's ready to go, right? Gun comes slightly out of battery, trigger gets pulled, trigger resets. Try it again, and we're just going to go, the trigger's reset, okay? Gun comes slightly out of battery, trigger pulled, trigger resets, okay? That's a 365. Gen 6 Glock, okay? Trigger is ready to go. Gun comes slightly out of battery, trigger pulled, dead trigger. Gun comes back into battery, trigger resets. Gun slightly out of battery, trigger pulled, dead trigger. Okay, but when that gun comes forward, the trigger resets. There's a Glock. let's look at even. Let's do it with my Ace Glock trigger here. It's by Trigger Tech, okay? Trigger reset, there we go. Dead trigger. Gun comes forward. Resets, okay? What else do I have that's striker fired that I can show you that on real quick? Lots of Glocks, they're all the same. Okay, here's a shout out back in the day. Okay, here's my old XD40 subcompact. I've had this thing for a long time. Okay, it's an old gun. Trigger is ready to go. Gun comes slightly out of battery. Trigger is dead. Let me see if I can get you a better angle. Trigger's dead. Okay. Gun comes back into battery. Trigger resets. So it's a unique thing that I've never seen happen on a striker fired gun. Now I haven't tested since I saw Brett do that. I've tested all my striker fired guns, and this is the only one that has that issue. So again, just something worth knowing.
Okay, the other thing that comes with the Canik Prime Radian is a holster. So do you have to have a holster day one when you get the Canik Prime Radian? No. It's got a decent holster, got good retention. It does click in there pretty good. The retention is purely around the trigger guard here, and you can tell that because there is so much wiggle. This isn't a great holster. When I say not great, watch. It's just thin plastic. It's not... This isn't something durable. This isn't something that I would carry. But it's, like I say, it's serviceable, it's usable. It's just not something that you're probably going to use long term if you carry every day. So cool that they put it in there. And look, I understand it's a value add. This is another thing where I'm talking about features that come with the gun. You don't get this with a Glock or a 365 or most of the other guns in this kind of category. The thing is feature packed for the price range, and I think in that realm it's a fantastic value.
So final thoughts on the Canik Prime Radian. I'm very happy with the value that I got for my money on this. I've been wanting a Canik again for a while. I've had a few of them, but I didn't have one in my inventory. And when I saw this one come out, as you've seen on a lot of my guns, I like the Ramjet. I think that they do a fantastic job of mitigating recoil. And when I saw this was coming out, I thought that's the one I'm going to wait for and I'm going to snag. But I think value for the money, I cannot think of a gun in this category on the market that is a better feature-rich value than this gun is. So I'm very happy with how I spent my money. I've owned Caniks in the past. I've had nothing but good experience with them, and I expect nothing but good experiences here. And it shoots and performs in my hand because of that Ramjet at least as well as any full-size gun. So to be able to get full-size performance out of a compact package, that's what I was going for. That's what I wanted, and I don't have to do a whole lot of tinkering or changing to make this the gun that I want. It fits me right out of the box. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? Are you going to be trying to get your hands on the Canik Prime Radian? Is there another gun that you feel like does a better job of being this feature rich out of the box? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for stopping by.